2 minutes. In the meantime, I think we're just going to check the sound. Hello, 1, 2, 3. Teresa, can you check your microphone? See if it works.
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
One, two, three. Just checking the sound. Teresa?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, maybe let's turn this way just to see how the sound is when we're turning against the wind. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, I think the sound is good. Beautiful skies today. Hello everyone and welcome to this remote site inspection in the Faroe Islands. My name is Christina and I work for Visit Faroe Islands. With me today I have Teresa. She works for the DMC, a local DMC here called Connect Faroe Islands. And Teresa, she is going to take us around her island. She is from Suðuroy, which is where we are today. Right now we are in Akraberg, which is the southernmost point in the Faroe Islands, and in a bit we're going to show you around here, and then we're also going to head to Sumba. We're doing these remote site inspections for all of you, our lovely buyers and clients that we were supposed to meet and greet in Frankfurt this week during IMEX, but unfortunately due to the COVID-19 pandemic this is not possible. So we hope that these remote site inspections can compensate for the lost time there, and we can't wait to meet you guys in person once it's safe to travel again. And I think I'm going to pass on the word to Teresa. Maybe we should say a quick hi to her.
Hello.
Hey Teresa.
Hi.
Thank you
Hi.
for taking us around.
Yes, as you said earlier, we are in Akraberg, which is the most southern part of the Faroe Islands and the most southern part of Suðuroy. As most of you know, the Faroe Islands consist of 18 islands and Suðuroy is the most southern one. There's about 5,000 inhabitants in Suðuroy, and this particular place we're in now is really beautiful. It's one of the most spectacular places in Suðuroy.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, you can see the lighthouse.
The lighthouse is there.
Yes, it's about 14 meters high and it's quite old. It's from the beginning of the 1900s.
Yeah, I think it was yeah.
And a lot of people come here just for taking that picture of the lighthouse.
I don't blame them.
No, it's
This
really
is an absolutely spectacular view.
absolutely. Actually, there used to be people living here way back in the 1300th century, but they were Frisians, but they actually died of black fever at that time. And speaking of corona now, so
Yeah. Luckily we haven't been that affected by corona
exactly
as they were by the Black Death back in the 1300s.
So it's now a place where people come just to enjoy themselves, have a picnic, or just you know, enjoy the nature and the scenery.
Yes. if you've seen pictures from the Faroe Islands, you might have seen this iconic view from Akraberg. Should we maybe give them a little bit of a peek of where we actually are now, because it's not only the lighthouse, there's also an absolutely beautiful view here to the bird cliffs.
You can actually see the birds. They have come back to the Faroe Islands. We have also the sheep breeding at this point. So it's really a good time to be in the Faroes. Everything
Yes.
comes back to life.
You can hear the birds singing and the lambs running around the
Exactly.
fields.
Normally, this is actually a time of year tourists really love to come to the Faroes because of that. They can see the lambs there playing around in the field, and you can hear the birds. You just open the door from a hotel room, and then you can actually hear the birds.
Yes. So we're standing close to the edge, but as you can see, we are safe here. So this is a very safe place to view.
Yes, it is.
To view the spectacular nature here. I think there's a viewpoint further up this way.
Exactly, and
So we're gonna head that way.
there is also a spectacular view from there. This is actually something that our company specializes in. Connect Faroe Islands is that it's when you come to the Faroes and you choose the Faroes as a destination for your conference. It's unique in the Faroes, and it's really important that you also have that uniqueness home with you again. So instead of maybe using like a normal or conventional conference room, we actually try to bring the conference out in the nature. That means that sometimes we have conference guests coming out in the nature, sitting outside and having their conference outside.
Yes.
Of course, weather permitted, but we do our best to have, make that happen.
And this would be actually a very nice place for that.
This is absolutely
Here in
a very nice
Akraberg.
place for it. It's possible to make a setup of chairs and tables if you want that, but you can also just, sit down on the grass and make your point or whatever it is that is on the agenda for the conference.
Yeah.
This is quite beautiful.
We're getting a lot of instructions here. Maybe we'll do a panoramic, hey Teresa,
Hey.
or a panoramic, a 360 degree.
In Suðuroy, there also is a really good place for people who are really interested in geology. Suðuroy and Mykonos they are the oldest islands in the Faroe Islands. And you can actually see how the layers of how the Faroes is built up, or
The volcanic
the
layers.
exactly.
Yes.
And that geologists they think that's amazing that you can actually see how it's done.
Geologists and
Yes.
everyone else. I absolutely love that as well. And you can see the basalt columns here. A lot of places here in Suðuroy you can see basalt columns.
Exactly. We also in Suðuroy we also have the only coal mine, and the active coal mine in the Faroes, and people find that very fascinating to make a sort of breakout from the conference and
Yes.
just to see
Yes.
how a coal mine
And you can
works these days.
And you can actually enter into it.
Yes, you can.
Coal mine. Okay.
But it's of course you cannot do it on your own. This is something that we have to organize.
Plan ahead
Yeah,
and
exactly.
get someone from the coal mine to
Yes.
come and show you around. Okay.
It's also sort of to make sure that you don't have a lot of people just coming up. You have to plan it.
Exactly. Yes. But it's active, so there are people that actually work there daily in the coal
It
mine.
is, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Not many, but there are people working there still.
Yeah.
And this is a part of our history as well. So it's quite unique that we still have that.
I think I would like to say to someone has just joined the video, because not everyone joins in the very beginning. At the moment, we are located in Akraberg. I'm gonna show you behind us here. Akraberg is the southernmost point in the Faroe Islands, on the island of Suðuroy, and down there you can see the iconic lighthouse here in Akraberg. The lighthouse, I think it sends out lights every 30 seconds or so to ships and so on.
Yes, exactly.
And over there, if you can see it in the ocean, over there are some skerries. They are probably the very most southern point of the Faroe Islands that you can see.
Exactly, yes.
Visibly.
Yes.
And actually, I believe in the island of Suðuroy is the island in the Faroe Islands that has the most skerries and islets. If I remember right, it's around 262.
There are a lot of them, because when you enter with the ferry, there are a lot of skerries, so you really need to know what you're doing.
Yes, but it's also something that makes it very different in a way to the rest of the Faroe Islands, because some of the views that you get here in Suðuroy, they're absolutely spectacular, and you have the very high sea cliffs and islets, and over there we can see Beinus, where from there you can also see quite a lot of sea stacks, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beinus is one of the places that people, you can see when you meet people that they have searched for everything, and then they know exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing place.
And here are some, are they called binoculars in English? In Faroese we call them kikare.
As you can see that everything is, they make sure that everything is safe.
Yes. And it's also quite important to stick to those places. You can clearly see where they would like you to go. Teresa, do you want to try them out?
Yes.
I think she can probably see
I can see birds, a lot of birds.
And birds.
Trying to catch the meal of the day. And the lighthouse.
The lighthouse, let me show you. So I'm gonna go here. There you can see the lighthouse as well, and the bird cliffs here in Akraberg and the island of Suðuroy, which is where we are today.
Can you imagine having a meeting and you have had a lot of new things learned that day, and you go outside and this is what you get?
I'm sure this is extremely inspiring, especially if you come from big cities and places where you don't see the ocean and the mountains. Here you have everything in one place.
Exactly, and that's actually why we try to. That's what we do. We try actually to get the conferences. I mean, when you come to the Faroes, you need the unique things.
Yes.
That's why you choose the Faroes. So that you bring the conference outside. That's something. I mean, you get creative when you're out in nature. You can hear the birds. You can hear the sheep.
Absolutely.
So it does something to you somehow. I mean, it gets under your skin.
Yes.
I think people actually get most creative, and I think that your perception is quite different when you're out in nature. So that's what we try to do.
Also, just the fresh air. Maybe the fresh air cleans out all the barriers in your mind.
Exactly. I mean, everybody can do a conference in a conventional conference room, right?
Yes.
The tricky part is actually to get, the participants to sort of really get the grasp of what you're trying sort of to learn on a conference.
And speaking of the times of Corona now, it's actually the safest place to meet is outside.
Exactly. So this is, of course, it's a bit more tricky to work with, because the weather is what it is. We can see today we are quite warm
Just
clothes.
so you can see, it's a bit rocky here. So,
but it's amazing to walk outside and just feel the fresh air, and you sort of feel renewed.
Yes.
So this is actually what we try to give the people coming to the Faroes to have their conference or their meeting. So we sort of have the on-meeting, the on-conference, and we try to improve it every time.
Yeah. So I would also just like to say quickly to those of you following on our website, you can of course follow the live streaming there and control the keypad, but you can also head to visit Faroe Islands YouTube channel. There we're also streaming live, and we have a colleague called Anle who's ready to answer any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions for Teresa, you can go to the YouTube channel and ask questions there. We are actually now we're gonna jump inside the car and we're gonna head to the neighboring village called Sumba. Sumba is the most south village here in Suðuroy that is inhabited. And I am going to pass the camera to my colleague Vanya whilst I drive.
You know, when you come to the Faroes, you come by plane at Vágar airport, and then you have a shuttle to Tórshavn. So to get to Suðuroy, you go by ferry. So you arrive at the airport, and then you have a shuttle. It's around approximately 45 minutes to Tórshavn, and then you go by ferry to Suðuroy.
Yes.
That is approximately 2 hours setting time.
And I think
but the good thing is that you can actually have a conference. You can start your conference on board the ferry. It's a really well-equipped ferry, so you can start already there.
Exactly. So you make the best use of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is good catering and everything, so you can. It's a really good thing that you can start already.
Yes.
And then when you sail, you actually pass some beautiful islands, smaller ones.
Hey. Yes, and you also have a very good. It's not a conference center. It's probably more like a concert hall. In the village, or it's probably more like a town.
It's a town, yes.
Called Føroya.
Exactly. It's a unique story to that conference hall, but it's possible to have bigger conferences there. And you can have the main conference there, and then you can have the breakouts where you go out in nature and do something more exciting there.
Exactly. Right? And they have extremely good sound.
They do have.
I've been told that it's the venue in the Faroe Islands with the best sound.
They do have. It's a remarkable story to that, because in the 1920s, 30s, Suðuroy was really a progressive, one of the most progressive islands. I mean, half of the fishing fleet was owned by the people of Suðuroy.
Okay.
So they needed salt. The fish has to be salted when they sold it to Spain, for instance, and other places in Europe.
Okay.
So this is the conference hall is actually an old place for where they were keeping salt.
Okay.
So that's now an exciting building, actually.
So even if you're not outside in the nature, doing the conference or having the meeting or event, you're still in a very historical place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, in Suðuroy you have it's a quite a historical place. It's Sumba that we come down. We can almost see it.
Yeah.
It's a really old village, back from the Vikings, and there's a lot of story to be told here. So we could use hours to tell the story. We won't do that. We will let you see the scenery instead.
I think we're
But-
maybe gonna stop the car in a bit, and then we can jump out and head towards the village of Sumba. It is such a beautiful and scenic village.
Yes, it is. And this is really something, if you want to give your customers something that is completely different,
Yes.
this is the place to be.
Absolutely.
We also do this in other places, so I have to tell you that we do it, other places in the Faroe Islands as well.
Yeah.
It's just that
So
I am
Connect Faroe Islands.
yeah,
your
Connect
company.
Faroe Islands.
Yes,
We do that
exactly.
other places as well.
Yeah.
We also have other beautiful places in the Faroes, but I was born here, so this is special to me.
This is your heart.
Yeah, this is where
Yes.
my heart is. So we do a lot of.
Okay. We are just. Okay, yes, we're gonna go left now. I'm going to open the door here, and we're going to head outside so that we can get a better look at the village of Sumba, which is where we are now. And the village of Sumba, it's the southernmost village in Suðuroy, but also on the Faroe Islands, of course. And with me today I have Teresa. She works for Connect Faroe Islands. If you have any questions for us, you can head to Visit Faroe Islands YouTube channel, where we're also streaming live, and ask us anything. And maybe, Teresa, do you want to share your email address as well?
Yeah, of course. You can send it to me personally, which is Teresa, and it's Teresa with an H, T-H-E-R-E-S-A, and then it's connect.fo.
Perfect. I think someone wants to look at my car. I think the nature here is a bit prettier than my car.
Maybe we should say hello to the sheep.
Yes, if we go to the right again and head forward, then we can see some sheep in front of us and some lambs.
They are so cute.
Yes. How cute are these? I absolutely love this time of the year when the lambs are running around.
Yeah.
They are so cute. These lambs, they are actually quite old. They're probably a week or two old.
There are some small ones over there.
Oh, yeah, these
Yeah.
ones are small. These are probably only a few days.
Can you imagine, a conference where you just walk around?
Where the sheeps are part of the conference.
Exactly.
Of the delegates.
Can you imagine the smiles on the faces of the
Yes.
participants?
It's definitely an experience. It might be a little bit distracting. I wouldn't say that, but it's inspiring, and I'm sure it would open people's minds.
Well, you can see it right here. This is probably very old. If you look here to the left,
See here?
this is where they gather the sheep when they have to do something, give them vaccines or cut them, or cut the wool off or something like that.
Yeah.
This is where they actually gather them. This is really, really old, probably older than us.
Yeah.
We're quite young, so.
We are young. Embracing the youth.
Exactly. We have to.
Yes. So actually in front of us, we can't see it very well, but there's a football pitch up there. And the football pitch, it's full of solar panels
Exactly.
by the football pitch. And it's a new project that the SEV, which is the power company here in the Faroe Islands, are doing here in Sumba. And if all goes as planned, the solar panels, they're going to provide 20% of the power and electricity here in the village of Sumba. Maybe we can show them also here quickly, whilst we're not getting instructions. Well, you can see in the back there behind the village of Sumba, it's Beinasvörður. And Beinasvörður, I think it's the second highest bird cliff in the Faroe Islands.
Yes, it is.
It's the highest here in
Suðuroy.
Suðuroy, and it's also probably by far the most famous peak here in Suðuroy.
Yes, it is.
Everybody
wants
time,
to go there.
Yeah, we don't have time to go up there today, but it's an absolutely spectacular view.
I can have a sort of footage of
Yes,
a
maybe you
live
could share
recording,
some,
so I can share some of it.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's beautiful, especially in the evening.
Yeah.
I mean, when with the sunset.
Yes, I can imagine. I've
Yeah.
actually never been there myself. I would love to go there one day. Maybe I'll come and visit you
Exactly.
again one day.
We have to
when-
arrange a conference.
Yes, we do. Maybe in Breinesfjord.
Yeah.
It looks quite steep, so I'm not sure if we would be able to sit on chairs, but
But it looks
it
quite
would be different.
It looks quite different from the other side.
Okay.
That's where everybody goes.
Okay.
But typical groups that come to Suðuroy is between 20 and 50.
Yeah. Okay.
We cannot have we don't have really big venues where we can have conferences.
Yeah.
So and we have hotels as well and guest houses, but they are not really not big, but small family-owned hotels. So it's
Okay.
quite tranquil.
Yeah.
It's so I would say around 20 to 50
Okay.
people
Yeah.
at a time. But as we have salt, as we mentioned earlier,
Yeah. That's the venue.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the big venue.
Yeah.
Of course, we can have bigger conferences, but it's you have to stay all around the island
Yeah.
to
And
be able
that's
to
an
do that.
experience as
But
well.
that's
Yeah.
fine as well.
I think when you come to Suðuroy, it is quite remote for being one of the big islands here in the Faroe
Yeah,
Islands.
it is.
It is
Mhm.
quite remote. It's a 2-hour boat, or sailing by boat
Yeah,
from the capital Tórshavn. And so I think when you decide to come to Suðuroy to have meetings or conferences or on an incentive group, incentive tour, then I think you might as well go all the way and
Exactly.
do it a bit differently.
Exactly. It's perfect for yeah. It's perfect for incentives. This one you see here, they actually did for in the February. They did it all around the city. This is actually locals. Both adults and children have painted.
They're actually very pretty, and they're
Yes.
well. Sorry.
I hope you
think
can hear us.
Yeah, I
It's
think the
quite
sound is
windy,
maybe
so-
a bit off because of the wind. Okay, perfect. Maybe it was my microphone that was taking in the wind directly. But what maybe you can say again, in case they couldn't hear it, about those
The stones?
little Easter egg
Yeah,
stones,
stones.
or yes.
Yeah, exactly. They were painted to Easter. There was somebody from the village here which has the idea that it would be really cute to have these small stones and people could sort of paint them, and they did that. Actually, it's around the the whole
The
village.
whole village.
Yeah.
And you can see the lambs running around here, and I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's actually snowing right
Yes.
now. So, welcome to the Faroe Islands in May.
But that's a good thing about the Faroes.
Yes.
Is actually that it can be rainy, it can be a bit boring, the weather, and the next moment
Yes,
it's fantastic.
it's
It is, the sun is out and shining, and you
So-
can see those
the geese. They
cute little fellows here.
They can be quite aggressive.
Yes,
but,
they can.
Especially
You can see that they don't like us.
Protect, especially during the time when they have geeslings.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave them in peace, but there you got a peek of them. We're gonna let them have their family time in peace.
Oh,
And here
there's
was
another one.
I'm calling them Easter eggs, but these are actually
Stones.
little stones that have been painted by the locals here in Sumba. Let me show you Sumba from this angle. We are in the village of Sumba, if anyone has just joined us now.
You see the small island outside is actually protecting. The storms can be quite heavy here during winter, right? So that little island there is actually protecting from when the
All the waves and winds.
yeah, the big waves
and,
coming in.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I've been told, or I've read, because I'm not too well known here in the island of Suðuroy, but I've been told that the waters out there is it called Sumbjarskar?
Suðuroy ute.
Sumbjarholmur,
Mhm.
so the island of Sumba. So the waters around it and around here just outside Sumba can be very harsh. The currents, and it's actually quite dangerous for ships and boats to sail
You have to
close to
be
shore
careful.
here.
Yeah.
And I think it's the currents that go around the island of Suðuroy and the currents that go around the whole of the Faroe Islands that meet here, and they make the waters here very difficult to sail in. And there are also loads of skerries both beneath and above the sea level, so it can be also difficult to see if there are some skerries just below the sea level.
Exactly.
I can imagine. I'm not a sailor, so but I can imagine.
But the people of Suðuroy, they are also they're said to be a bit different. They say that they have more sense of humor.
Yes.
They have their own sense of humor, and they're more. What's the right word to say about it?
So I would probably describe them as the most passionate people in the Faroe Islands.
Good word.
Yes.
Good word, Christina.
Yeah. They're very passionate.
Yeah.
In everything they do, if it's sports, the teams here,
the
football teams here from
Yes.
Suðuroy, they are probably the most passionate teams, to put it in a nice way.
Exactly. Maybe has something to do with that. We are mixed. We are mixed from the French and from the Spain. What do you call it? From the
Spanish people.
Exactly.
Yes.
So maybe that's where the passion comes from.
Yeah. And they're also very charming. I think the passion, it's very charming in the people here from Suðuroy.
Thank you.
And you as well. Teresa, she's a very charming person actually. Maybe we're gonna pass. There's a local one here. He's washing his car, cleaning his car. So I'm just gonna turn the camera a bit away to give him peace and quiet to clean his car. Hey.
That's actually something we do in the Faroes. When we pass by somebody, we always say hello
Yes.
or hey.
Yeah.
That's just a courtesy. Everybody does that. I think it's a really
it's
nice
a good thing.
gesture.
Yes, yeah. Maybe Teresa, do you want to show your charming self?
Hello.
We were just talking about how charming the people from Suðuroy are, charming and passionate, and Teresa is definitely one of those. And to those of you that have just joined, Teresa, she has a company that is a DMC called Connect Faroe Islands. And maybe you can say quickly a bit about your company to those that have just joined.
We have this company, Connect Faroe Islands, which specializes in taking the conference outside. So you actually use the nature and get the best in people, by going out in the nature. We do it all around in the Faroe Islands, but Suðuroy is. I'm from Suðuroy, so of course this is something which is close to my heart. So I use Suðuroy a lot.
Yes.
But we do it everywhere, and what we think it's the reason why we actually do this is that we think that you can. If you want to go to a normal conference room, you can do it everywhere. So when you choose to come to the Faroes, you need to have that uniqueness home with you.
Yeah.
And how do you get that? You get that by really enjoying the nature in a different way.
Yes. Teresa, Andrew, he's asking us on YouTube if there's a famous bridge here in Suðuroy. He's asking if it's in Sandvík.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a bridge which we do not recommend people to walk on it.
Okay.
It has to be.
Okay, so we lost the connection there for a few seconds. We are back. So maybe you can answer Andrew's question quickly again. He was asking about a famous bridge that is here in Suðuroy.
Exactly.
And I think it's in Sandvík.
It is in Sandvík. It's a small bridge, and it's a lot of people who come there want to take the picture, but we actually try to say to people. We try to say to people, don't go there on your own. Please have a local with you.
Yeah.
You actually need to have a permit, to walk there. So it's really a fascinating bridge, but we recommend that you do it with a local guide.
Yeah. Okay. And I think most places here in the Faroe Islands we recommend that people use local guides, and that's because if you're not used to walking in the mountains here in the Faroe Islands, it's better to have someone that knows the area.
Yeah, because I mean the safety is always that it has to be the first thing you think of. You need to have the safety in place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, absolutely, we always use local guides when it's about walking in the mountains.
Yeah.
And you need to have a permit as well.
Yes. So actually I think,
ask for permission.
And most of the land here in the Faroe Islands is privately owned.
Yes.
So it's a good idea to check before you go where you're going, and to see if someone owns that land. Usually it's all right to walk there, but you should just ask for permission.
Exactly, because it has something to do with that. It's really nice if something happens and nobody knows that you are out in the mountains or in the nature. That could be a bit dangerous, right?
Yes.
So it's really nice that somebody knows where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So here in front of us here you can see the church in Sumba, which is where we are today. And the church, I believe it was built in the 1880s. I think it was 1882 or 1883. And I think we're gonna turn to our left here and see if we can head inside the church.
Churches are really important to the Faroes.
Yes.
And people go a lot to church on Sundays.
Yeah.
To mass. And maybe it has something to do with that most of the Faroese men they were out fishing, and there were of course some of the boats that never returned home. So it has something to do with that. You need to have, I don't know, something the people are really into going to churches.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
I like to go to church on Sundays.
It's a nice Sunday doing something.
Yes.
It's a nice thing to do on a Sunday, and usually you go with your family, and then when you get home you have a lunch together, the whole family, and
it's a nice thing to do on a Sunday.
Yes, and actually it's also possible to you can ask permission to go inside churches as well, to maybe have some concerts. Sometimes you have concerts inside the churches. You can maybe also have a lecture or something like that.
It's used for different purposes,
yes.
but it has to be something that's okay to have in a church.
Yeah. So now we are heading inside the church. Let me see. I think maybe there's this toilet there. So I think we're not going to go to the toilet of the church. I think we're going to try to get inside it. And in front of us here you can also see some graves. Here. This is probably the old graveyard. Jess, I think. If I know, we can't see it from here. I think there's a newer graveyard down there behind the houses there.
This is quite typical with the outside Faroese churches. You have the old cemeteries and then the churchyard, and then you have a newer one.
Yes.
This one is quite old.
Yeah, it looks very old.
You can see 1800 something on some of the stones.
So I'm not going to go closer just to be respectful. But yes, these are very old. And here you can see, I think something that's very charming about this village and also many small villages in the Faroe Islands, I think they live around 360 people in this village called Sumba. It's that they're quite colorful, and you can also see maybe some of them, they've lost quite a bit of the paint, and that's because they are just in front of the waters here, and you can get some quite wild storms here as well. So obviously the weather it tears on the paint.
It does, especially here in Sumba, I would say.
Yeah. Should we see if we can go inside? Jessa, are you gonna open the door for me?
Yes.
Thank
This
you.
beautiful little church.
Yes. There's Vanya, our colleague, and here in front of us, Jessa, do you want to present him maybe?
This is a surprise we have for you. This is Paul Arne, and he is the lead singer in Hamradón, which is famous. What would you describe it? What kind of band is it?
I think it is.
Oh, sorry, just 1 second. I think we're going to just to make sure that we can hear you. That would be a good idea.
Oh, sort of here.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us about what kind of band that.
I think Hamradún is, I can call it a folk rock band, and we play old ballads with modern instruments. And we sing in Faroese and Old Danish.
And I know it's amazing, and we really look forward to having you sing for us.
Now, you want me to sing now in a church?
Yes, we would love that.
Yes.
So, do you?
Ein stort og stokkut løta, så færa vi ur hisser. Og i himmelrike atur møtast, vi taimon som vit misto her. Som du var gå vi fægir mun, hui mæje leite heim til tun. You can check the music out.
Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tek man i hånd? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in this Corona times we don't shake hands, but I think in the Faroes it's really difficult not to do that because it's sort of a part of us to shake hands.
We always do that. May I see it?
So this is a traditional church in the Faroe Islands. We have modern churches as well, but this one is sort of a really traditional church from the last century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would like to say tack för det. Tack means thank you in Faroese. Now we're outside the church again.
Yes.
And Teresa, you have your microphone?
Yes, I do.
Perfect.
You know the folk song he was singing right now,
Yeah.
just before. That was the way you used to do in the Faroes when you were sort of telling the stories to the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, and Hamradón has interpreted it to a more modern way. You know, so they use rock and sort of folk songs to do it in a different way, so
Yeah.
we can still, you know, pass on the stories.
And I think we should, in case someone's wondering how to spell Hamradún, if they want to go on
Yes.
Spotify or YouTube to look it up now, it's spelled H-A-M.
Radun.
Exactly. And the lovely man that was singing for us, he's the lead singer in Hamradún, and his name is Paul Arne. he was actually he is the male singer of the year this year in the Faroe Islands. He's an
Exactly.
excellent singer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. And now we are heading a bit further into the village here in Sumba. Sumba is the southernmost village in the Faroe Islands and on the island of Suðuroy, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
In Suðuroy there's approximately 5,000 inhabitants.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
And we have around 7, 8, 9 villages,
Okay.
small villages.
I think we have about 15 minutes left. Let's just walk around a bit here. Explore
Yes,
it.
exactly. There's a nice spot we can sit down and
Yeah.
have something to eat.
Yes. So Paula just mentioned in comments in YouTube that she would love to learn Faroese.
Yeah, but that's possible as well.
That's Paul Arne, the lead singer in Hamradun that just sang for us in the church. He is from
He's from Tvøroyri.
Tvøroyri, which is the largest town here in Suðuroy.
Yes,
So
that's where the
he's
ferry
heading
also
back
arrives.
home. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also where you arrive. Maybe if we turn around here to our right, we can see the church again from this angle. There you can see the church. It's an old church. It's from 1883 or 82, around there. At least the 1880s.
So after a long day in a conference or meetings,
Yes.
isn't it nice to go to a church and have some hear some singing or hear some folk songs or something like that? That's something that we have been requested several times.
Yes.
If we could arrange that, and I can see what it sort of gives you something
Yes.
when you hear
definitely
the
does.
the songs.
Yes, and it's especially in the church. You're quite close, and it's very familiar and nice
Yes.
to experience the concerts inside the church, and the sound is really good. And like now, for example, he didn't even have a microphone, so
No.
it's his pure voice. And it's a different experience to have a concert in a church for sure.
But also that he didn't have any; it was just his voice.
Yeah.
Today we are used to that you can do anything with a voice, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you don't even you don't have to be able to sing. You can do anything with that. So I think it's a nice experience actually to hear a voice singing.
Yeah.
And be good at it.
Yes.
Here in Suðuroy we have hotels, smaller hotels, family-owned hotels,
Yeah.
and guest houses, and we have cafes. We have really nice cafes.
Yeah.
And we have catering of different kinds, so it's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
For instance, when you have a conference outside, that you have the catering as well.
And I also know that you have a local, how would you call it, an experience company called
Yeah.
Outdoors Faroe Islands.
Exactly. Good you mentioned that, because they do team building,
Yes.
and they are really champions at it.
Yeah.
They're really good at it. For instance, if you want to do some team building, then we contact them and have them make a tailor-made program for you.
Exactly. And they are very good at what they do. They also work at the is it called the sports high school here
Exactly.
in Suðuroy, which is
It's a huge success.
yes,
It
it's-
is.
I've heard that it's actually quite, especially Faroese young people. There are a lot of them that want to go there, and I think they're always fully booked. And there's maybe even a queue.
There's and they're always they're always outside
Yeah.
doing stuff. I mean, they're really active.
And they're also, I think they are some of the best gymnasts here in the Faroe Islands. So they definitely know what they're doing.
But that's an option you have as well, to have them to make a tailor-made
Yes.
program for you. But we also have these fast-going boats
Yes.
as well, and you can actually from here in Sumba you sail on the west side of Suðuroy, so you can see Bænisvør from the sea.
Oh, really?
There's
you can see
actually
Bænisvør from here. It's the peak that you can see just behind there, the village of Sumba.
we just made a image film of Suðuroy where you can see what you can do. You can actually see that tour when you go on the west side of Suðuroy, which is spectacular.
Okay.
Yeah. People who have tried it say that it's sort of a lifetime experience.
Cool.
So that's something
I
you
can
can do as
imagine,
well.
yeah. And they are very steep as well, so it's I can imagine it's a completely out of this world experience almost.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And actually also in this village that we are today, there is one of our most famous poets is from Sumba. His name is Paul F. Johansen.
Yes.
Yeah.
His poems are out of this world good.
Yes.
Really.
Yes.
I actually don't know whether they are translated
yeah,
to
I'm not sure either
to
myself.
other languages, but he was. You're blown away because his poetry is about life.
Yes.
You know, what he's thinking, what he's feeling, and it's
Okay.
you actually get really touched by
Okay.
reading it.
So it's
Yeah.
emotional poems.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are,
By
and they're funny as well.
Okay.
He had a really good sense of humor.
Okay. And he is from Sumba, so he's been a man that is in touch with his emotions, because people from Sumba can be quite rough and
Yes, I mean when you're from a place where the weather is harsh and it's maybe
There's a
that
car
sort of
behind
transforms
us.
you
Yeah.
into people. They say that people, especially men, they don't talk that much.
yeah.
I don't know whether that's only for apply for a Faroese man but they're known to be really strong.
Yeah.
Mm.
hmm Strong men here in Sumba and
But-
Suðuroy.
Yes, exactly.
Sure, Therese, I can tell you about that.
But there are other beautiful places in Suðuroy as well. We have another place in the next village, Vágur, which is called Echanar. And when you can actually drive up there, and we have this view that is, I mean, you can spend hours
Okay.
seeing the view. So there are almost every village, not almost every village here has its own unique
Yeah.
viewpoint.
Yeah.
And the thing that in Suðuroy, it's the special thing with Suðuroy is that it's really easy to get around in nature.
Yeah.
You don't have to hike for hours to get to a viewpoint, right? So it's easy to get around, which is appreciated by people coming here.
Yeah.
That they get to see a lot of things because they don't have to spend hours on hiking
Yeah.
to
And
have
I
a good
think-
view.
So I am not from Suðuroy, but I am always blown away when I'm here. It is hey, it is probably the most beautiful island here in the Faroe Islands. There is something very, very special about Suðuroy.
It is, and I'm really happy that you said it and not
Yes,
me.
Yeah.
But it is. Suðuroy is the most beautiful island in the
Yeah.
Faroes. It has something. It has something really different
Yeah.
from the other places, and also because you go by boat, this really modern, nice ferry. It's a
Yeah.
really nice boat ride.
Yes.
So you start off in a good way as well, and then you come to Suðuroy. And actually, when you sail into Suðuroy, the fjord, you have to be outside.
Yeah.
You have to be outside. You have to see when you sail into the fjord. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mhm. I can vouch on that
Yes. Yeah.
as a person that is not from Suðuroy.
And we really look forward
Yeah.
to welcome you to Suðuroy. I mean, we are ready to do whatever you would like to do, as long as it's outside, so you can have
Exactly.
can have the nature. Oh, it's
Teresa.
nice. See?
What is this?
Yeah. This is just sort of something small that we have arranged today.
I
But
am actually really hungry.
so we have some catering from one of the cafes, and maybe a small glass of wine. We have to
Should
serve
we
it,
have
right?
some? I think let's ask Vanya. She's gonna get some food when we're done here. But Vanya, maybe you can take the camera whilst me and Teresa go have something to eat and maybe a small glass of wine. Let me just. There we go.
And this is really warm and nice to sit on. From sheeps.
So Teresa, you have a small cafe in
Yes.
in Tvøroyri.
In Tvøroyri, exactly. It's called the Glasstofan, and actually the reason that we started it up is that
Nice.
there was sort of a lack of cafes, I thought.
Yeah.
So what did I do? I just started a cafe.
Yeah.
It's typical, but it's really good that we have. We have cafes in almost every village here of some kind. So that's really nice.
Even in Akraberg, where we started.
Yes,
the tour,
exactly.
Which is actually not inhabited.
No,
There's going to be a cafe.
yeah, there's
if
actually
you
going to
want.
be a bird museum. They have 500 birds
Okay.
that you get to see. They are working on it right now. That's why we couldn't go in and see it. And there's going to be a small cafe, so you can actually sit in Akraberg and buy a cup of coffee and like a pancake or something like that, or something like this,
Amazing.
and enjoy, the view from outside. I think this bird museum is going to be visited from from a lot of people that want to see it.
Yes.
Mm.
And if you didn't join us in the beginning, we started off in Akraberg, which is around 5 kilometers from Sumba, which is where we are now,
Yeah.
in Suðuroy.
Quite. It's a big island, you can say, in the Faroes, but around 5,000 people live here, and we have everything here.
Yes.
It's not like because we are like 2 hours
Exactly.
boat tour from the center of the Faroe Islands. We do have everything here.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing about Suðuroy and having meetings and conferences is that it's really easy to access.
Yeah. It is. Very good road connection everywhere, and
Yes.
and if you want to use the time, the 2 hours, if you want to use the 2 hours that it takes to sail to Suðuroy, then you can have a small meeting or something like that inside the boat. Someone is giving us a lot of instructions. There you can see the southernmost point in the Faroe Islands, and here is the nice food that Teresa brought us.
And we cannot be without.
Maybe I'm going to sit on this one as well next
Yeah,
to Teresa.
this is really nice. We always bring
It's
this
nice
with
and
us
cozy to
so we
sit
can,
on.
sit comfortably.
Yes, and this is also something that you can do when you're in the Faroe Islands. You can bring your lunch outside with you.
Yeah, yeah.
And sit in the nature. You can actually find quite a few of these benches with the table
Around
out and around, and you can sit and enjoy your lunch.
And actually, a lot of
Beautiful
places
nature
now
in front of
cafes,
you.
so you can buy your lunch bag
Yeah.
and just go out.
Yeah.
If you have a couple of spare days that you want to use in the Faroes,
Yes.
when the conference or the meeting is over, then that's a really good opportunity
Yeah.
to experience
Mhm.
the Faroes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the corona has actually been a very positive thing there for the cafes and restaurants here in the way that they are doing more takeaway and
exactly.
focusing more on that. So you get very good options for takeaway lunches to take with you on nature.
Yeah, because you have to think of some some new ways of you know, surviving.
Yeah, so positive and positive. It's something that you
Yeah.
you do in difficult times.
Yes,
Yeah, you get-
absolutely. Yeah, but I think we have a new way of living after Corona. So
So I think we have around 2 minutes left. So I'm going to ask Teresa, who works for Connect Faroe Islands and who has taken us around here in Suðuroy in the village of Sumba and in Akraberg. I would first of all like to say thank you. And Teresa, would you maybe like to share your email address if anyone has any questions for you?
absolutely, it's Teresa. It's THERESA at connect.fo.
Yes. So if you have any questions or requests or inquiries for Teresa, then shoot her an email. And we are doing these remote site inspections because we were supposed to be in IMAX in Frankfurt this week. Teresa was also supposed to be there and some of our other partners, but that was cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is why we've done remote site inspections here in the Faroe Islands this week. And
We hope you think that it has been a good idea to do that.
yes, exactly.
And get an idea of the Faroe Islands.
This is actually our last site inspection for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I'm not